there everybody, it is me Leo and welcome back to another video. So today we're back with another speed build, and this time we're building a house called the RACER'S Dream Home. This one is a fairly large modern home. It's got 3 bedrooms and 3 full bathrooms. And as the name suggests, I built it for a race car driver or pretty much just anybody who's really into cars. So earlier this week while I was at the office, I was reminiscing about the good old days in The Sims 3 where we had cars. But I remember at some point I realized that one of my Sims in The Sims 3 had a relationship with their cars, and that just made me giggle so much because in The Sims 3, once you've spent enough time in your car, you actually start to develop a relationship with it, which I thought was hilarious. And I was like, you know what, my next build is gonna be dedicated to cars and how we do not have them in The Sims 4, and I don't really see how they're gonna incorporate it since I don't really see much of a purpose in having cars in The Sims 4. By the way, reminiscing about The Sims 3 made me think of how at this point in The Sims 3's lifespan, almost 4 years in, we already had an announcement for the next iteration of the game, and at this point we still have no official announcement for when The Sims 5 is gonna come out. So what the hell, EA? Please, we need to know. We really need to know. They're keeping us in the dark, and I feel like there's gonna be some major announcements soon. So anyway, for this build I went for this more urban kind of grunge aesthetic. And basically my main concept for this one was I really wanted to have a car visible from the master bedroom. Yes, that is how obsessed our sim is with their car. They literally want to see it 24/7 even while they're asleep. They want to open their eyes and the first thing they see is their sports car. So I kind of made this thing where I used a roof to make a ramp to this platform that literally connects to the master bedroom, and you can literally just park a car on that platform and it can be seen from the master bedroom. And I thought that was a really fun and clever idea that would actually be pretty realistic as well. I could literally, I don't know how many times I've said literally, but I could see a person who's really into cars wanting to see it most of the time and just figuring out a way to see it from their bed. That sounds really weird, but yeah, I could definitely see a real life car lover wanting to have something like this. So yeah. Anyway, the ramp doesn't work, it's a roof, but I thought that was a really nice, clever idea. I also kind of replicated it on the other side using grass instead, and I was actually inspired by a previous build that I did, which didn't come to fruition. I didn't finish that one, but I posted screenshots of it on my Art Deco speed build, Art Deco penthouse, which the speed build that I'm talking about was an earlier version of my Art Deco penthouse, and I did this little platform where I had grass roofs, and it was a really interesting shape and stuff like that. So that grass roof on the right side of the house is kind of a reference to that earlier build, which I did a really long time ago now that I'm thinking about it, almost 2 years ago. Time flies by so fast, but this build has a lot of details that I got from my modern minimalist house, such as these things that I'm doing right now, which is kind of making this additional roof level using these floor slabs that came with spa day. Also the trellis thing I also got from from that modern minimalist home as well. So initially I was going for this more eco-futuristic feel, but I felt like I had just too many ideas, so I was like, you know what, let's focus this build on the car aspect and the race car aspect. So I actually I actually ended up changing the main color scheme for the outside. Like, I used a lot of grays, which was, I really like the white. If this was my house, I would have probably kept it white, but I really like the idea of making a gray house because I do not use gray that often. Like, I'm more of like a black and white kind of guy, or like, I don't know, like light woods, but I don't think I've used gray that much, so a lot of this house is actually gray. And I ended up falling in love with that stucco that came with Jungle Adventure. I love the raw concrete texture, and also there's this little fence, and it's next to this trim. The fence is the trim for these roof overhangs, and I kept them white because if you actually look at them, they kind of remind me of like racing stripes or like athletic stripes. So I thought that was a nice little cheeky nod to the person living here. And speaking of the person living here, nice segue there, but I imagine the person living here to be a little bit more on the younger side, maybe a younger up and coming race car driver who's got a relatively good amount of achievements in the racing scene. So they're living by themselves, or maybe like with their partner, but they've got no plans of starting a family anytime soon, and they're also really into having fun. They like playing video games and board games and all of that stuff, so all of that is in this build pretty much. But of course, the one thing that they're most passionate about is cars and automobiles. So there's a really good sized garage downstairs which can fit 2 cars, and of course we got this little platform that comes off from the master bedroom, and that can have 1 car. And actually this build ended up having 3 cars in the end, which I think is actually the most number of vehicles I've ever put in any house that I built so far. But yeah, the cars are toys, by the way, in case you guys didn't know. They're sized up kids' toys because we do not have cars in The Sims 4, which makes me super sad because yeah, I've ranted about this so much already. Like, I'm not even in the mood to like complain about The Sims 4 because it is what it is, and I'm just looking forward to The Sims 5, and I hope they actually innovate this time and not just make it like a total downgrade like they did for The Sims 4. But anyway, enough strong opinions, and let's get back to the build. So another really interesting feature that I tried to incorporate here is this quote-unquote 2-story window, and I really wanted to use these ones that came with the fitness stuff pack, but the walls weren't behaving the way I wanted them to, so I just ended up using a combination of a really high wall base game window and a lower wall one, and it looks really awesome if I do say so myself. It looks just as good as the fitness stuff one, and I really like it. I should definitely use that in a future build. Look at that. From the staircase, it looks really awesome, and I think it also does a really good job of connecting the different levels together. I really like how that effect came together in the end. But for the interior, you guys might see that it's a very unconventional floor plan layout because it's kind of like a reverse of what you would normally expect from you know, a basic normal floor plan that everybody's used to, where, you know, most of the bedrooms are on the upper floors and most of the living areas are on the lower floors. But this one, it's kind of reversed, because the first and second floors, that's where the bedrooms are, intertwined with the parking areas. And then the topmost level is actually where the living areas are, the kitchen, dining, and living room. There's also like a little bar area and just a lot of lounge areas around the balconies and stuff like that. It's pretty fun. But for the kitchen, I used a lot of Cool Kitchen. I think most of the counters and the appliances I use are from Cool Kitchen. But yeah, one really interesting thing that I added in the kitchen is actually an ice cream machine, because I keep forgetting that we have an ice cream machine. But I think one came with, I think it was either the Cool Kitchen one or the Perfect Patio. We've got so much stuff back that I just cannot keep track of all of them, but off camera I added an ice cream machine. So yeah, that was a pretty cool little twist to have for the kitchen. But yeah, pretty much for the interior, I kept it mostly black and white and really chic and urban, and yeah, and just really sophisticated, kind of. There's some artworks that are a little bit more on the quirky side, but overall I think it's in good taste. I imagine our race car driver having enough money to, you know, hire like a legit professional decorator to furnish his home. So yeah, anyway, the living room area, it's a little bit more on the smaller side. It's literally on the staircase landing, but yeah, I imagine this living room right here to not be the main living area, because I mean, it's maybe for entertainment, yes it is, but not like, I don't imagine it to be a living room that's used quite often, because there's like some other places in this home that I imagine are more used on a regular basis. But anyway, for the living room, we really wanted to have an L-shaped sofa. But since we don't have any modular sofas yet in The Sims 4, I decided to just use move objects to combine two different sofas, and I got so indecisive decorating the interior at first, because you guys can see like I changed a lot and I had to edit out the footage. Like, it took me a good 6 hours to build this home. First of all, because it's quite a large home when you think about it. It's got 3 bedrooms, fully furnished, 3 full bathrooms, you know, and lots of stuff. It's also on quite a large lot. I believe this one's on a 20 by 40, which is an unusual lot size when you think about it in The Sims 4. I feel like this is the only 20 by 40 now that I think about it. But I thought it was a nice challenge. You know, it was a nice little different thing from what I normally do. So yeah, I really want to spice things up a little bit. But anyway, for the living room, like I said, it was a little bit on the smaller side, but there are large areas outside of the living room. There's a lounge area outside of the living room, and there's also like a little bar area from the dining room. So it's quite a large space when you really think about it. But right now we are furnishing the master bedroom, and I gotta say, I actually really loved the master bedroom and how it came out in the end. I would totally like want to live here. Like, I would like this as my master bedroom. And you guys can see the car is pretty visible from the bed. So anyway, I love this like accent wall of this just rough concrete stucco. Can concrete be a stucco? I don't even know. But yeah, this just beautiful gray stucco. Oh my gosh, I really, really love the look. And you know, the bed, there's literally nothing in it. Like, you know, it's just, you know, a headboard, a little ceiling, and a bunch of really modern looking lights, but it just works, you know. I didn't really put anything there because I didn't really feel like it needed the clutter. I also throw in like a massage chair, which, you know, if you're a race car driver, I imagine like after a race, you'd probably be really tired. Like, you'd probably want to have like a foot massage or something, so I put it there. You guys are gonna have to take out that ottoman I put in front of it. If you want to make this functional, you're gonna have to take out that ottoman, but you know, it's fine. It's for decoration. It's aesthetic. And then of course I had to throw in like TVs at some point, and that's pretty much it for the master bedroom. There's literally very little furniture here, but like I said, it's all about the bed and the car. That sounds really weird, but it really is, and I'm super happy with how it came together in the end, and I'm obsessed with that headboard. I really love that concrete texture. But anyway, moving into the master bathroom. This is the only bathroom that we're going to be furnishing in this video because the other two look really similar. They had the same furniture, and if I included those, it would have made the video way too long, and I didn't want that. So yeah, anyway, this one is definitely the most luxurious. I can't say if this one's the largest though, because I feel like the one downstairs might be a little bit larger. I don't know, but anyway, size doesn't matter, it's just about the luxury. But for this one, I did it slightly differently because instead of using a horizontal mirror, I actually used like a really nice vertical one, which is different from how I would normally do, because typically I would like default to that one horizontal mirror that came with, I believe, Spa Day, but this time I kind of spiced things up a bit. But oh my gosh, I really love that lounge area that leads to like the grassy slope. Like, I imagine, like, I don't know, maybe when you're really stressed, you can just walk the slope barefoot. I personally really enjoy walking barefoot on the grass. It's just such an awesome sensation. And since I built this as an urban home, I feel like being able to walk on the grass is like such a luxury. And I feel like it makes sense to have a lot of attention for that one. But you guys probably just saw me furnish like the balcony area for the master bedroom, and that one had some exercise equipment. And then this one is the guest bedroom, which I imagine could be a bedroom for like the manager of our race car driver. Like, I think this would be perfect for a manager who might also be a parent, because I've seen a lot of those racing shows, and typically like their managers would also be like their mom or their dad. I mean, did anybody like watch Herbie? And yeah, I think the manager's the dad, right? I don't know. But yeah, I imagine this room to be like for a manager slash parent. So it's got a lot of stuff specifically for somebody who's managing like a race car driver. So yeah, by the way, I love that bed area. Once again, it's exactly the same as the one in the master bedroom. This one has a little bit more clutter though. But yeah, I also put this little desk area where I actually made like an L-shaped desk. I combined two tables. I choose dining tables in the end actually, because these actual desk tables, the legs weren't lining up properly the way I wanted them to, so I choose these dining tables instead. I actually got this technique from another simmer on YouTube, Lukey Dean Sims. He does this in a couple of his builds, this L-shaped desk. So I saw it in one of his builds and I was like, you know what, I gotta do that. But yeah, like I said, for the interior, it's just pretty straightforward and almost minimalist. And I'm really happy with how everything came together. I also used just this rug. I think I used another rug, but I don't know. I really like it. Especially that gray wall texture. Oh, you guys can see me use it all over this build. But off camera, I furnished the laundry area, and also for this parking garage, I made it so it would look like you know, like a car repair area or something. So I threw in like a workbench. So yeah, this would be like a place where they would repair the cars and stuff like that, do maintenance on the cars or something like that. So funny story, in my childhood home, our next door neighbor actually was a car repair store, car repair shop, and their daughter was actually my brother's classmate. So anyway, back to the builds. I gotta say, I really enjoyed doing this bedroom right here. It's kind of like a not really bedroom. I don't know what I'm even trying to say, but I made it so it would be more of like a gaming room as opposed to an actual bedroom. Like, I imagine like the Sims who are really into video games, who are really into board games, literally spending like weeks in this place, not leaving this place. That might be a little bit exaggerated, but you guys get what I mean. Like, the people living here, like this is their favorite room. Like, it's got the most personality. It's the one they spend most of their time in with their friends, you know, just playing board games and playing video games, you know, playing on their PS4 or their Xbox. I really wanted to throw in like I forget what those are called. Those like video game arcade machines, there we go. But yeah, I also had to throw in a bed because, like I said, since they don't really leave this room, I felt like, you know what, let's just throw in a bed because that would be so funny. I also didn't make this room like as sophisticated as the rest of the house, so it's kind of like all over the place. Nobody really cares about how their room looks. They just care about the space for their video games and stuff like that. So yeah, I also imagine this room to be really moldy and really smelly. But yeah, I really like that room actually. It's like such a fun little idea. And for the ground floor, we actually have this really large hallway area over here. And I knew that I wanted to make it into kind of like a hall of fame. It's a literal hallway of fame. Oh wow. Yeah, I am on a whole nother level of innovation here, you guys. But yeah, I wanted to use those display cabinets that came with Jungle Adventure, but they were too big and they were a little bit too over the top, so I ended up using these ones. I think these might have come with a base game, I don't know. These are shelves that are like trophy cases, and I imagine these trophies to be like achievements for our race car driver. And then there's additional like memorabilia over here on this area. Like, I put some diplomas which in my mind they're actually awards for like races that he's won. And then I also throw in like some signed jerseys, I think. So if, you know, our race car driver is like a fan of like a specific sports team, you know, he would collect like their jerseys and stuff. So that's where I put that there. So I thought that was a really nice use of space. And oh yeah, of course I had to put in like a basketball because outside there is like a basketball court. It's only like a half court, I guess, because there's only one hoop. I don't even think it's considered a court actually, because it's like literally a hoop like hung on like one of the walls on the outside. But anyway, so I wanted to add like this staircase. It was kind of like an afterthought, but I really wanted to have the staircase that came off from the parking platform. And then for this little planter box, I wanted to make it into like more of an accent wall. So I painted it with like a rocky texture to just give it a little bit more variety for the textures that we had outside. But I initially used a texture from Jungle Adventure, which I didn't like because it got this weird like really strange shimmering thing, and I didn't want that, so I changed the wall texture to one that came with, I believe, I don't know what it came with, but yeah, it's a different one. And you guys just saw me put in the basketball hoop, which I think it works. I think that one should work. And then this is also where I build the swimming pool. By the way, if you guys can hear that squeaky noise, that is my computer chair. I am adjusting it because I'm uncomfortable. My butt is being squished. Anyway, so yeah, for the landscaping, I kept it really simple and really urban, as I mentioned earlier. So there's actually a lot of concrete. I felt like there was a little bit too much, so I took some of it away. And then for the trees, I used one of my favorites, the Brazil wood trees that came with Jungle Adventure, and the trees that came with pets, which I do not know the name of, but these ones came with cats and dogs. So they're huge, by the way. Like, you know, by default the size is they're just so big, so I had to size them down a couple of notches just to make them fit into our backyard area. Also, I made this little nook right here. It's a little bit more of a private space for a hot tub. I really like it. I thought that was a perfect place to have that hot tub. And I didn't include it in the footage, but I also put in like a barbecue area and like a little bar area to have some, like, I don't know, outdoor dining as well on the outside. But you guys can see me do a little bit of a landscaping here. Of course, I had to cut a lot of it out to save on time for the video, and I think that is pretty much it for this build. Actually, I just kept it really nice and simple, and you know, pretty naturalistic, to complement the very geometric shapes that we have on our main house. So yeah, I think it actually came out looking really nice in the end. Ooh, by the way, I put in like a jumping platform. I always forget about these when I'm doing my builds, but yeah, it looks like that is going to be it for this build actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up my commentary right here. So as always, I hope you guys like this build, and I hope you guys enjoyed enough to help support the channel by sharing the video and also subscribing to the channel, and also leaving a like and a comment is very much appreciated as well. So that is going to be it for the speed build. You all have an awesome day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.